everyone. It's time to eat, drink, and be merry with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show. We do this every first Tuesday with our friends Steve and Karen Wilson. We call them Mr. and Mrs. Wild of Asheville because they do. They go wild at the Orange Peel. They go wild at breweries. They go wild out in nature in Smoky Mountains National Park, the Blue Ridge Parkway, Pisgah National Forest. You never know where they're going wild, but they own the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. It is in the Montford Historic District of Asheville, North Carolina. Very historic, but very also close to the downtown and anything you want to experience in the region. And it's one of our favorite places. Go to lion-rose.com. I know, right? And this is so fun. We're recording this show while we're actually in the middle of the Pisgah Forest, National Forest. And this airs while we'll actually be at the B&B. So this is so much fun. So welcome back, Steve and Karen. How are you guys doing?
We're good. How about you guys?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Steve, I've got to go to you because, you know, we're going to talk about Beer City, USA. This is, we're going to have two segments on the show. We have two groups of guests, but this is interesting. You guys, you know, you cook, Karen bakes, Steve, you brew. I mean, do you ever brew and bake at the same time?
No, in our kitchen, it's a little difficult.
Yeah,
it makes it a little tough.
I know you locked Steve downstairs with his brewery gear. Don't you? He's like, that's it. Downstairs.
Well, maybe we lock the beer. We maybe lock the beer taps away from the guests. Maybe that's a better thing.
Yeah. Well, I do know this, that when you had Nancy and I play Innkeepers for the weekend,
that was fun.
We did that as a special show and article. You know, we served beer mimosas on a Sunday, and then people wanted them on the Monday and the Tuesday, and apparently that's a big hit. You know, so Steve, you brew beer, but so when people come in, you it's like, welcome to the inn. Here's your beer. Then you get breakfast. Sometimes you get cookies and all kinds of treats in your rooms. But beer mimosa, it seems to be this is a big deal on Sunday mornings. It's important.
Yeah, they're good.
Yep.
Yeah. I like this. What's on
Become
tap
a tradition.
Well, I just threw an imperial stout inside the fermenter right now, so it's doing its thing, and hopefully it'll be ready for you guys to get here.
You know, you inspired me to look up. I have to say, because you're brewing your own beer, it inspired me to look up the history of beer. And this just freaks me out. Beer was first brewed in Iran, and now it's illegal. So I just
no way.
Well, that don't make any sense.
But this now you're leading me on the path to our first guest. We've got three special guests joining us from two different places. This is important because prohibition happened in this country, which is the most rudest thing ever. No, there's way more bad things in this country, but this was just like, what were we thinking with prohibition? But I want to bring Asheville's original brewery on the show. We have Nikki Mitchell joining us. She's a VP of brand development for Highland Brewing Company. And you can go to highlandbrewing.com. This is so exciting because I believe they were the first ones. And you're the first ones to say, hey, you know, prohibition's over. We're going to make beer.
Let's make beer. That's right. Cheers, y'all.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah,
Am I right that prohibition just sucks?
Cheers.
That was
We got started back in 1994. So next year we actually celebrate 30 years. And we were born right here in Asheville.
Oh, congratulations.
Nice.
So you
Yay.
really started Beer City, USA.
Yeah, Oscar Wong, our founder, he's been dubbed kind of the godfather of craft beer here in Asheville. Certainly his pioneering spirit in retirement actually got him in the beer business. And so, we've grown a lot along the way, and yes, still excited to have that title as Asheville's original craft brewery. And Gaelic Ale, actually, Asheville's original craft beer.
I was looking at that. That's your flagship beer. So
that's our flagship
Gaelic Ale.
Right.
So did this start? Did he go on a trip overseas and go to England and Ireland and all those places that started him off, or how did that flagship beer happen?
Yeah, Oscar really, I mean, he's got such an interesting backstory. So if you don't know much about him, he's of Chinese descent. He was born in Jamaica, educated at Notre Dame. He's actually an engineer, incredibly smart. Never had a career in the beer business, but they had a home here in the West North Carolina area, he and his wife, Anna. And so they would vacation here. And then when he retired, they moved here permanently. And I think Anna got pretty fed up with him at the house the first couple of years into retirement and said, "You need a hobby, my friend." So he got into just dabbling with beer, and he's just, like I mentioned earlier about being a pioneer, he's got this entrepreneurial side that's really amazing. And he was really drawn to those kind of traditional ales, those kind of Scotch, Irish kind of rooted beers. And so we originally had a Celtic ale, was one of the starting recipes that would then evolve into Gaelic ale.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad he did it after he was an engineer, because
Yeah.
it's like, I'm building this bridge and let me have another.
Exactly. You just saw an opportunity, for a new, like a emerging opportunity for this community, for Asheville, beer tourism, obviously would become a manufacturing facility here in East Asheville later on, but he saw it as a great opportunity, and it's really helped pave the way for so many amazing craft brewers here in Western North Carolina.
It is exciting to see. I mean, the brewery scene really has grown across the country. I know, especially, I remember, when we started our magazine and when we went from San Diego to being Southwest Blend way back when, and now we're international, but we were covering the beginning of Colorado breweries, and now you have Fat Tire here. It's like, it just seems like certain cities said we're brewing beer, and they just didn't want to wait around for wine to take so long. You know what I mean? They're just like, let's get this going. It was smart, but now it's like, I don't know, all the places we're going, we're seeing breweries become part of the city makeup. When a city starts to grow, it's like, well, you have, it's like the first thing they go is, where's the coffee shop? And now it's like, if you have a coffee shop and you don't have a brewery, you suck. So it's kind of like that. So we're seeing this brewery explosion across the country. How does it feel now? I was actually reading about you guys in the Wall Street Journal. How does it feel now with the amount of breweries in Asheville? I mean, is there a part where, okay, let's balance it all out, everybody has a different flavor kind of thing? Where are we on that scale? Because you are Beer City, USA, and it all started with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, and certainly something that's been discussed and the dialogue around this community for a long time. We're fortunate in that we live in this very community-centric area, and craft beer in general is typically collaborative. Folks work together with different resources, different ideas, equipment. And we've found a lot of friends in the industry when we're, seeking new ways of doing things, or especially during the pandemic when we were running out of certain supplies or raw materials, getting help within the industry is something that the craft beer folks really do so well. And I think something that makes craft beer similar to coffee is that it's got this level of accessibility. The price point is usually more approachable than, say, wine or spirits. It's really, while it can be highly sophisticated in the nature of the science and the recipe and the ingredients profile that are being used. I mean, a lot of times it's casual. You're sitting around, you're talking about the smells, the taste, the different hops that are used. And it feels like a place where you can just sit down, grab a beer, talk about it, gather with friends and family. So it really fuels that curiosity. And I think a lot of times breweries have become kind of the neighborhood bar, right? So you've got so many small microbreweries, especially here in Western North Carolina, that have surrounding neighborhoods or, housing, and people can walk to them. And that's an exciting feature. Breweries tend to be a little bit more family friendly, it's a great hub for a lot of different activities.
I love it because, go ahead, Nancy.
I was going to say, can you play with the beer when you're making it? Can you say, oh, let's add a little of this and a little of that? Or no?
I'm sure our innovation brew team certainly can. I try not to dabble. When I come into the brew house, they're like, Nikki, no.
Well, but I think that this is the important thing to me, is that, it comes, breweries start from, we've done so many shows and interviews on this, where most breweries do come from home brewers that just have this connection of friends. And it's like, okay, let's do it, man. All right.
All about
let's push each other to
bathtubs.
actually open a brewery. And it's entrepreneurial, which I think, your founder is so, forward thinking. I mean, obviously, look what he's developed, and all these people opening breweries all through Asheville and the Southeast, really. And I know you're in so many places across, like 4 states here, and it's just an inspiration. And I think he's also got this amazing story. Hey, I'm making beer, downstairs like Steve, kind of thing, but what can grow from that? And it's a community, really, among brewers from, what we know, and also even wineries. Wineries help each other out, especially when there's a water shortage or,
totally,
all bottling shortage, and I think that's the important thing for us as consumers of these wonderful libations to be part of too. And going through difficult times, we all were like, can we come get beer on the side corner, on the street, can we how do we get it? We all wanted to support and everything. And I don't know, but it's just something really special that starts with some really decent roots, not so corporate, even though you guys have grown, but it has those roots of that true American story, right?
Totally. Still
having
family run. Oscar's daughter Leah is our president and has been since 2015. And it's evolving. And even though we're much bigger than we were almost 30 years ago, it's still got that family vibe where, sometimes it takes us a while to do things, or sometimes, we get ahead of ourselves, which is kind of the exciting part about, growing up and, learning as new folks come into our team and bring new ideas and different ways to look at things. I mean, even just a simple lager recipe or a taste profile can be really just poured over, and people get really excited about it. And I love hearing our brewers and our production folks and our sensory team talk about the different ways that you could take a traditional beer style, make it unique, which a lot of these breweries are doing with all kinds of things, IPAs, with sours, with, pastry stouts, and that's where you get this like healthy level of competition, right? And a collaboration between other breweries, or, oh, wow, they did a great job at this. That leaves some space for a lot of folks to play and innovate, even within a field where there's a lot of players.
Oh, I want to get into the food and brew pairings and everything too, because, I know just about, like, chefs are like musicians, like it's the after party, and then it's like, oh, let's taste this. Well, I just did this, and maybe we can't let the public know yet. But anyway, so I want to talk about food now. We got to bring our next guest, John Gotts and Lisa Andreasen. Am I saying this correctly, Lisa? Because you've got a good last name there. I want to say Andreasen. They own the Cooking Cottage, and this is so cool because Nancy and I know I need to go to the cooking school, because apparently I need that help.
Go now.
And I think all of us could use some cooking help. And during the pandemic, we're all like, watching the Food Network and trying to do things, going, but we really need someone to hold our hands, and we want to have fun with it and not feel stupid. So sometimes you go to the Cooking Cottage for that. So go to cottagecookingasheville.com. This is the website. So welcome, Lisa. How are you?
Fine. How are you? I was listening to the beer discussion, and I'm starting to think it's a prerequisite to live in Asheville, because we also brew our own beer.
Oh my
Cool.
gosh,
Yep.
really? So Lisa, did I pronounce your last name? Like I should have asked you before this, but I always mess up everyone's names anyway. Sorry, but is it Andreasen? And tell us
Yes.
about your last name, Andreasen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Andreasen. That's very good. Excellent. And Lisa, my first name has two I's in it.
Yeah.
So my family is Scandinavian. That's the
Okay.
heritage there. Yeah. So it's the
Oh,
crazy spelling.
That's it. That's it. And then John Gotts, and that is Godts, everyone. And I believe that is Belgium. John, so welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm from Belgium originally, and came to Asheville about 25 years ago, and to the United States about 35 years ago.
See.
cool.
So John, what is going on in Belgium? Because apparently, like clean food. I mean, we interviewed a famous chef from Belgium I don't know, it was like, I'm gonna have to look it up, a decade ago. I don't know. But it seems like what is going on with the food over there in regards to seems very healthy.
Well, yes, you're right. In Belgium, we try to eat healthy and all organic as much as we can. We don't eat much, but we like good quality food.
That's it. It was Pascal Nassens, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm going to get in trouble.
Probably so. I don't know him personally, but
she's a
I
lady.
think you're right.
She did it.
I've heard his name before.
Yeah, it's a lady. She's she came on the show. She did Pure and Simple. It was a cookbook, Pure and Simple, about being healthy, fresh, organic, and living the good life. So, John, did your cooking experience come from your family, or is it something you came into later in life?
Actually, I started cooking about 10 or 12 years ago after a bicycle accident. I was a mountain bike racer, and one day I was hit by a car and broke my back. So if I cannot race, I don't even ride my bike. So I had to find a new challenge for myself because I didn't feel sorry for myself. So I had to do something else. And I started taking a bunch of cooking classes because I didn't know much about cooking, and absolutely loved it. And I'm still learning every day, even after 10 or 12 years of cooking.
Wow, that is awesome. I love that because it's true. When something negative happens, you can wallow. You're allowed to wallow for a day or two.
Oh,
you know,
Yeah.
you've got your moments. You can do that, but there's only so long
yeah,
you
this
can do
is
that.
true.
I have a mother here on the show that will let me know that she tends to kick my
That's enough of
behind.
that.
You know,
Yeah.
I have friends who will kick that. I have a big butt, so they have a lot of kicking is allowed
Alrighty
and
then.
needed.
Is
But
that an advertisement or what?
Yeah, I know the feeling.
no, I'm just saying that it's added for the kicking. But it's true to go and find something to pull out of what you do, and medical things and actually going through an accident is pretty traumatic. It is, and your body goes through trauma. It's emotional. It's
it
a
was hard,
thing.
but
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel sorry for myself, so I had to do something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I went
And
to the
cooking.
cooking classes and learn pretty much all the time.
That is awesome.
Cooking's awesome.
Lisa, for you, where did your
fun.
cooking journey start? I know Scandinavian food. Come on, like
Not really known for their food.
Okay, wait a minute. What about lutefisk?
Oh God, no! I have eaten it, and not a big fan.
Oh, you did it? You did the lutefisk?
Oh, I've eaten lutefisk. Oh yeah, and all sorts of other
Thank you.
delightful pickled herring and kumpa, which is basically gray meat in a ball.
Oh, I'm so
we
excited.
don't do any.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, we don't do any Scandinavian cooking classes here. But I did grow
What
up.
about lefse? We can make lefse. That's good. Our friend makes
Yeah.
that for Christmas. She made lefse.
That's not bad at all.
That was
So
good.
yeah, I grew up in a family that was always having parties and always entertaining and always cooking something. And then I lived in Florida for about 10 years and had a catering business down there. And when John and I met, he was just starting to really get into cooking and had this idea to do a small class format because he was taking culinary classes at schools that had maybe 15 to 20 people in a class and didn't really like that environment. So he said, hey, maybe we could do something a little smaller, a smaller format out of our home. And we kind of did some sample classes with some friends. and they loved it. And here we are.
Oh, but now we definitely want to come and hang out with you guys. And Steve and Karen, apparently you guys went over and and this, you guys cook over there and bake over there, but you went and did a cooking class over with Lisa and John. Karen,
we did.
What did you cook?
We did cooking with beer. How appropriate.
Why did I even ask? Like,
awesome.
Seriously, you went. And so, do your guests go and do cooking classes over there?
So we are now partnering with them. So we are definitely offering it to our guests and trying to do culinary weekends and stuff like that now.
Oh, cool. And Lisa, you're doing that even if someone's like in an Airbnb, people, or like a vacation rental, you'll go over and even teach them in their vacation rental.
Yeah, absolutely. We've done a lot of things like bachelorette parties and family reunions and even corporate retreats, because we only do up to 6 people here at our house. So when we go off site, we call it like host your own cooking class kind of a thing. And we typically don't want to do more than 12, and that seems to work well.
Awesome. I want to go back to Nikki over at Highland Brewing. Nikki, events, that's a thing. I think there's
Definitely.
breweries start up, right? And then it's like, okay, now we're going to have a tasting room, the tap room, and then we're going to have events. And then I'm like, you have an event, you got an event center, a barrel room, a rooftop bar. And then you've got like a solar system going on. Like you're like, okay, I want to talk about, because that's where
solar array for sure.
That
is how Highland started. And so for us, we started with manufacturing in mind, as a brewery that was going to distribute our beer out, to grocery stores, on draft at local bars and restaurants. And some breweries actually start with the taproom model, which is what we kind of grew into our taproom model. And now our brewery production facility, which is over in East Asheville, it's a 40-acre destination at this point, with 3 sand professional grade volleyball courts. We're actually building a couple more into that part of our property. We've got a disc golf course, and like you mentioned, an incredible events venue. That's just been around since 2016.
Seriously, we can go have beer and hike.
Oh, yeah.
Or hike.
We have
and then
1 mile.
Beer.
We have a little 1 mile walking trail throughout the back part of our property. It's really cool. You'll have to duck a couple times with some of the discs that are flying through the greens, so to speak. But yeah, it's an incredible property that people, we want to encourage you to have kind of this active socialization when you visit Highland.
Wow. So Steve, have you taken puppies, Oreo and Ozzy on this trail?
Yeah. We haven't taken on that trail in particular. We've taken them to the brewery a couple times, but it's a great facility. I mean, they have volleyball courts where they have tournaments. We watched some friends play volleyball out there. I think they also do concerts out there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we have live music 4 or 5 times a week. We haven't done the massive concerts the past couple of years, kind of post 2020, the nature of all the the restrictions during COVID. We closed the property down right now only around Cold Mountain, our big winter ale release. So otherwise we're pretty much open and inviting guests here to visit and enjoy the music, complimentary. And we do have some ticketed events and things like that, beer dinners. So hint, hint, wink, wink, putting things like that together. We love collaborating with local chefs and restaurateurs to put together events specific to Highland. We just hosted Lunar New Year, for example. That was an awesome collaboration we did with Ganshan. It was awesome.
Oh man. See, that's the thing. I think, beer, I mean, it's like Highland Brewing, companies like you guys that have really set the scene to get people to understand so much more about beer and the different profiles, and the sky is the limit. And we've been to breweries where I couldn't even taste it was beer. And I don't know if that's good or bad. It doesn't matter. It tasted good. I mean, to me, it didn't, if it doesn't taste like beer anymore, I really, it just was really, really good. I love to see the creativity of it. And then like, how do you pair it and how do you get that, and I think it gets people to, like you're saying, sit down, talk, have that conversation. And I think that it takes, I don't know, it's not snobbery. You know what I mean? Like wine started off really snobby. I always say this on shows and all the wine people get mad at me, but it's true. There was this real chronic snobbery about 15, 20 years ago where people didn't go in. And now the younger generations are going, move over. We want to learn. And we don't have that snobbery. And I think that it was the breweries that said, stop your snobbery, or you do your snobbery. We're not. We're going to teach and have a good time with beer, y'all. And that's it. Move on over. And I think the wineries had to learn from the breweries to, you're losing money from being snobby. Uh-oh, I am going to get in trouble. But Nikki, I think there was that history of snobbery. Seriously. And I think breweries like set the path that you can learn how to taste and like what you like and don't like what you don't like. And do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not
it's
being
really
rude,
interesting. If you sit around and I'm trying to challenge myself even to have a deeper sensory, more sophisticated palate. But we have incredible like super tasters almost basically who are tasting our beer, making sure that they are brewed to spec, and then the flavor profiles that we want to have come out in these beers are actually what we're achieving. And so just sitting around, that's a really fun game. If you want to put together kind of a drinking game at your next supper club, have people smell a beer or wine for that matter, and ask them what they're smelling, and how people describe that sensory is just awesome. The professionals, if I said, it kind of smells citrusy, one of our sensory experts would say, I think what you're smelling is actually lemon zest. It's been slightly warmed. It's like much more than the one word descriptor that might come to mind for me. It's so cool to hear.
We did a thing once.
Like a lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so specific. That's been cut on the bias.
William Shatner had a show, a YouTube show, or not a YouTube, but a video show once where because he loves wine and Nancy loves William Shatner. And so she's like, well, we're watching every episode. It was about he brown bagged the wine, and he had celebrity guests on, and they couldn't tell what the wine was. And some of them didn't drink, and he didn't care. He was like, okay, taste this and tell me what it tastes like to you. Just describe it in a sentence. And he didn't care if they drank wine, knew anything, didn't care. And then you describe it according to your profession. And then later you'd understand, like, if this was like, $2 Jack or like, 90-point wine, wine Spectre Award. And it was really funny. So we did this at a Thanksgiving, or it was a Christmas party, I don't know, at a friend's house. And everybody was like walking in, like, what's going on? And we're like, here, give me your wine. We brown bagged it. And as they entered, we're like, we don't want to know who you are, what you do. Like, hello, but you need to enter this room by telling us what this wine is according to your career. And it was really interesting. And the chef is the one who blew it. So I want to go to Lisa and John on this, the taste factor. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about that, because through your classes, are you seeing people learning how to taste?
Yeah, I was actually going to say, Nikki, FYI, one of the beers, we always try to highlight local beers and cook with the local beers in our recipes, and Highland is always one of them.
Awesome. That's awesome.
We typically do a lighter beer in our Swiss beer bread. And then with the dessert, we have strawberries that are macerated, and typically the Highland.
Those are good.
Those were delicious.
Really
I think it was like a chocolate stout or something that we used.
Black mocha stout, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
That was
awesome.
Yeah, I bet that pairs beautifully.
So we don't have a liquor license, so we don't actually serve beer, but we can cook with it. And we talk about what types of beers go well with the different recipes and how not to overwhelm something.
My dad used to make hot dogs. He was a butcher, make hot dogs, and when he brought the hot dogs home, he always cooked them in beer. I'm like,
Yeah.
yay.
Yeah, they do that a lot with bratwurst. Yeah, it's delicious.
Well, that's how they barbecue in South Africa. They braai. That's instead of barbecue. When we lived over there, it was like there was no any marinating was beer. It was it. And I think really it was the guys dominated the braai scene, and they had to have their beer, and they're like, well, we need the beer for the braai. But they were really just sitting there drinking the beer and then go splash, splash, we did our job. That's really what it was about. But
yeah, the cooking with beer class is very popular with the guys. So it's one way for some of the wives or girlfriends to get their guys to come take a cooking class with them.
You can use beer in a cake. You can use beer in a cake. It's actually quite cool.
Yeah, because it's got the yeast and everything.
I've done it with brownies.
Oh, but look, Karen and Steve, Karen, you bake with the leftover spelt and everything, right? From what Steve brews.
Yeah,
and you
right from the Sprint grains, we do cookies and dog biscuits and breads and stuff. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly dog biscuits though.
Yeah,
that's why the dogs are so calm.
They're so happy, these dogs, and they normally donate them to the local shelters when they can. So that's really awesome that you guys do that. I do want to go to when you brought up about women bringing their husbands and boyfriends and anybody like that. That's like, hey, I'm going to got beer and cooking class to get them to a cooking class. It's kind of interesting I see more women drinking beer now than before. So Nikki, can you comment on that? Are you seeing that at Highland Brewing Company that more women are getting involved in beer than before? Or is it just
definitely.
my friends?
It's certainly, an industry that would have been started, male dominated in general, as far as the brewers themselves, the taproom and brewery owners, and then the beer culture. But that has evolved, and it's really an inclusive community. And women in beer is a topic that's been talked about, and encouraging more women to get involved. And of course, here at Highland, we now have a female leadership and president.
Right.
I'm the vice president. If I remember correctly, over 50% of our staff is female.
Right on.
And so we've got a lot of females on staff, and a lot of them in high levels of management as well.
Well, it's Highland. Don't mess with them.
I know my grandmother.
So we certainly encourage that.
My grandmother used to drink beer, but she said if you're going to drink beer as a lady, let's always put it in a glass. You cannot drink it from a can. That's no.
I will say from time to time, I certainly pour a nice beer into a wine glass, especially at home.
Yes.
Or even in the tap room. If I want a half pour, I'll ask for our fancy stemmed glasses and have my beer in a fancy glass.
I like beer in a wine glass, but I've also I go way back when to oil cans, and I don't know. There's just something once in a while I just want to sit in jeans in the dirt and drink a beer in a can. I don't know. It's a summer thing. I don't know.
Keep it simple.
I'm a tomboy at heart, and have done it. Like I am a tomboy. Climbed trees, fallen out of them, fallen off roofs, and maybe that's why I drink a lot of beer. Like it doesn't matter. But there is the time
maybe
where
it's because of drinking beer.
Yes. Don't tell my mother.
That's me too, though.
She's on the show. But no, but there's something about that, where you do pour a beer in a glass, a stem glass. I've done that. And it's just like giving it that grace,
my grandmother drank 2 beers and roller skated off her roof of her house.
See, and then later my granddaughter did it.
And her lesson was don't ever do that.
Well, apparently I took after her, and that's why I have such bad ankles to this day.
Yeah.
But
she's like, don't do it.
But we've gone so like I remember, it was in my teenage years, and I'm so young. That used to be, here's your pitcher and here's your plastic pitcher of beer, and beer was always
not plastic.
And I always thought, God, it's like we're not drinking, no, I don't want to say the words of it, but now we've gotten to a point where beer is it, and I love it. I love that there's this variety of what we can have and taste. There's something for everyone. Nancy always didn't like beer. And I said, well, you're smelling beer in a pitcher of
I know the
plastic
plastic
pitcher,
was gross.
and it wasn't necessarily the best beer. And then with all the craft breweries, like we started to find Nancy's flavor, and
Yeah.
it's now. I mean, we did that, right, Steve and Karen? Nancy drank beer with you. Oh, she's a happy
we
beer
did.
drinker now. So it's
So
about
Nancy, I'm
finding
curious,
that
what is your
profile.
flavor? Tell me about what you enjoy your beer tasting like. If it's not
I
beer
like-
flavored beer.
I like a little touch of citrus, not a ton,
Okay.
but I also learned to have it in a glass, not in plastic.
Oh, sure. Right.
Because I smell the plastic before I taste, and then and it's the same with anything. I don't like plastic. I don't want to eat
the
or drink.
vessel that the liquid is presented in really affects the overall experience. So if that, obviously glass is the best, and but if it's not cleaned, or there's too much soap, like there's residue, that can affect the way it tastes and smells, and
absolutely
how big the kind of the mouth of the glass is, and getting enough ability to kind of swirl it and get the aroma. All that matters.
Wow.
I know.
See?
Now my grandmother always said, if you're a lady, you get a thin-lipped glass. You don't get the thick one. You get the thin-lipped.
Oh my
No
gosh.
stein for you.
I know, it's so funny.
Nana
It's like,
rocks.
yeah, no, she was funny, man.
She rode a
She's
motorcycle. She's one of the first women to ride a
she's
motorcycle in this
4'9"
country.
and rode a motorcycle to Canada, from California to Canada. Motorcycles first came out, and then she learned to.
She is not the little old lady from Pasadena. Let's just put it that
she
way,
learned
even
to-
though she lived there.
like squeeze grapes that would fly out of her hand into the people behind her.
Okay,
So,
nice,
it's like
nice,
saying,
nice, Nancy. I want to go back to John here, because John, I want to go, because going from Belgium, like you've got to think about the beer of Belgium. Like I mean, you've got some of like the most classic. I recall like the Trappist beer. Am I even saying Trappist?
That's
Trappist beer?
the Trappist. That's one of those.
the monk.
Yeah.
And
So being here
they're
in
all
Asheville,
crafted
wow.
beers actually made by monks, and they're absolutely delicious. And a lot of actually recipe here are stolen from Belgium.
Oh, really? So this is like kind of a homecoming in a way for you, and like you're kind of home, like it's a connection. So this I mean, because I think it's very interesting about every country. Like Nancy started, like with here's a country that doesn't have beer anymore; it's illegal. But every country has its own beer marking. Yet here it is
for
in
sure, Belgium is
Belgium.
pretty good in beer.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they can do very well: beer and chocolate.
Oh, come on now, and cooking. So what do you like to do when you're cooking and teaching? Do you have a favorite beer or a beer recipe? What do you like?
Well, actually, when I cook, I don't really drink beer. I would like to sometimes. Basically, when I cook, I just try to teach. How can I explain that? No, we drink beer after the class for sure.
But do you ever cook with beer?
Yeah,
But, we cook with beer for sure. Yes.
Okay.
With one meal with beer, the cooking with beer class. That Lisa explained a few minutes ago.
Right.
But so so he's being professional. He doesn't drink while he cooks.
No, I drink when I cook when no one can see me.
Okay, so tell us what.
When the guests are sleeping, then we drink a lot.
See, here comes the truth.
Or
Okay,
between
I
two
want the
classes, we drink
backstory.
too. I'm sorry.
We want the backstory. We want the gossip. Like, okay, so you're a professional when you're cooking, but what are you doing when you're, not teaching and cooking? What are you drinking and cooking? Like,
I love white wine and all kind of beer, as long as they're crafted beer.
crafted.
I really like them all.
I'm
a beer drinker, not so much a wine drinker, but I love beer. I love IPA. Actually, we make IPA and double IPA, and that's probably my favorite.
Ooh.
Have you ever drank a beer or wine with a straw?
With a straw? No.
No, that's a no-no.
Come on.
That's a no-no. That's against my religion.
That's a no-no. That's
I wouldn't even think.
I actually have not.
Like you said,
That's a no.
drinking beer on a plastic glass, that's also a big no-no.
That's a no-no.
Oh,
yeah.
no
Always
red,
on a
yeah,
good
like
glass.
the keggers with the red cups. That's a no-no.
Not necessarily.
Listen, I just, this is my thing. When you go to stadiums and everything and you get your beer, like, and you pay more than you would at the brewery, right?
Yeah,
We all know.
really.
You go to a game or something, then it's like this, you want this beer. Like when we lived in San Diego, Stone Ale, oh my gosh, I want my Arrogant Bastard beer. And then here it would come in this little plastic cup, and you have to walk
like,
all the
dude.
way back to your seat. And it's like, by the time it's there, it's like, dude, you've ruined my beer. Like, I'm serious. So, Nikki, what can we do about the red plastic cup? Is there any kind of anything that these stadiums can change? Because like your favorite beer's there, and you'd want it, and you'll pay like whatever you need to pay for that favorite beer.
Right.
And then I feel like you need to just stand in line, drink it, and don't let anybody, so you can get a double. Like, I don't know. What
Can't
can
you give
do?
them your own glass? If you
Yeah,
put your
exactly.
own
Like
glass.
your own, you bring it in and serve in the glass.
Yeah, they
well,
don't want
there is a
glass.
product. I mean, you've probably been to, I believe the tourists had them this year or maybe last year too. The kind of, I guess, reusable aluminum type cup.
Those are
replacing
good.
the plastic cup.
We got a nice
Ball
collection of
actually
those.
makes it.
Oh, and it doesn't taste like metal.
It doesn't taste
mean,
weird,
I
and
would
it
say
keeps it
it's
very
an
cold.
upgrade from the plastic, but it's not a glass.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But hey, a little upgrade if it's reusable. So the tourists, okay, Steve and Karen, I have seen these photos on Facebook. Steve, Karen, either one of you, the tourists, this is a local group, right? Or not a local group? What the tourists?
Baseball.
Sounds like a band name.
Yeah, minor league baseball. Minor league baseball.
Yeah, it's our local team.
Okay.
Cool.
Who do they play against?
Other minor league.
Other regional teams like
a lot of
Greenville Drive, the Hickory Crawdads.
The
The
grasshoppers.
Hickory
Exactly.
Crawdads? Oh, that's
The
cool.
Hickory
Yes.
Crawdads.
Yeah, crawdads, grasshoppers, drive.
Okay.
Who
Okay,
else?
so
Sounds like an insect symposium.
okay, so do you get your beer? Now can you have Highland Brewing when you go there? Like that's
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's important.
Nothing more fun than being at the ballpark and having a crisp Highland beer out of a reusable aluminum cup.
All right, and what are we eating with it?
I agree.
Corn dogs?
There you go.
Can we have corn
Actually,
dogs?
the Asheville Tourists, they've got a great setup there. So we have quite a few of our beers on draft, and then they've got a couple sections where you can order to your seats even and get tall boy cans delivered. They've got
Cool.
like you could get a bowl if you want kind of that kind of Southwest vibe. They certainly have brats and hot dogs and hamburgers, that sort of thing.
Cheesesteaks.
Ooh,
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Philly cheesesteak for sure.
I gotta go to Lisa and John. From each of you, Lisa and John, I want one beer pairing food that you love. So, Lisa, let's start with you. Like type of beer, like doesn't have to be a name or whatever, but a beer, and what's your favorite side with a beer?
I would say I love to drink beer when I have Indian food.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like kind of a spicy sweet dish like tikka masala or something like that with an IPA. IPA is also my favorite.
Oh yeah, me too. I know, and a lot of women I know don't want to drink IPAs. They're like, "Oh, I get too full from them." I'm like, I really don't care.
Yeah, and there are different types. You can have like a little fruitier one, or what about you, John?
Personally, I like cheese and beer. IPA and all kind of cheese. Many people will say, well, cheese goes better with wine. As far as I'm concerned, I like beer better.
But yeah, because there is a thing.
I
mean, fondue. I mean, fondue and
fondue and
absolutely.
beer. Oh my God! Yes,
beer cheese.
Oh my God! Yes,
Beer cheese is the
also like
best.
it with the heavier beers, like the stout beer, Nikki, that you were talking about, the mocha stout.
Mocha stout.
That's great with like a piece of chocolate cake. That's delicious.
Nancy used to make fondue back in the day, but she used to use a crock pot. This is when we lived in Africa, and she would have people over and play fondue. And she made this. It was an angel food cake, and then she had this chocolate rum concoction sauce that she did with a lot of rum. But that
lots of rum.
Lots
And
of
then you did say
oh,
dip your angel food cake in the rum sauce. It was
it was
great.
really good, but lots of cheese.
Ooh.
But cheese and
It was really
beer are
good.
like you
Oh
really hide,
yeah.
and I
Mm-hmm.
think there's something in that that balances your body out. Like you can't it's like an acid and the dairy work well together. And that's something to
Mhm.
understand in digestion. I don't want to go to digestion, but beer is
No.
good for your body. Like wine can get a little bit okay, we've had enough, but beer, I mean, I could drink beer all day and be fine.
Well, my granny
Just
used to say
saying.
it settles. My grandmother used to say if you had a stomach ache, drink a beer. She's like,
It's
it'll
true.
fix you.
And how much you drink.
Don't
Yeah,
tell
it's like I
anybody
had
how
stomach
much.
aches all the time.
Yeah, like if we go to Highland Brewing Company, they may have to like just call an Uber and say take them back home to Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. It needs to happen. It, it has been a pleasure having you all on this show. Before you go, Steve and Karen, we're going to get your picks later because we have part 2 coming
Okay.
up. But we want to
Okay.
know, you know how suddenly someone just, the drop in happens, the old
Mhm.
lost friend, family, relatives, or whatever, just come knocking on the door, say, "Hi, we're here in Beer City, USA. We wanted to come see you." Knock on the door. Where are you going to take them to eat, drink, and be merry? So I want to start with you, Nikki. Where are we going?
Oh man, there's so many great places.
Oh, by the way, you guys are the
I'm always
first
the
sign
worst.
we
I'm
saw
always like,
for
who's
Asheville.
knocking at the door? Are they adults? Do they have kids? Like,
Yeah,
No,
it's
we're
like
talking
it's in my nature.
adult.
We
We're
want to create
talking
this like
adult. We're
custom
talking adult.
she
experience.
pretends she's not home.
This is an eat, drink, be merry show, and I love going on everyone's, alcoholic websites. Are you this age? Yes. Well, rock on, babies. Everybody's got a different thing, but I just want to say you were the introduction to us coming to Asheville. It was the first sign we saw. It was like Highland Brewing. I'm like, dude,
Mm.
what? We got to go. Like
Yeah,
that's like a
every
prom for
guest,
us.
no matter what, I'm going to take them to Highland Brewing. And depending on what else on their agenda, if they want to hang out, they want to listen to music, our main campus is just, I mean, it's a go-to. It's a not to miss spot in Asheville. And if they want to go downtown, we've got a brewery, a tap room in the S&W Market, which is Asheville's first food hall, which is very, very cool. So you
Ooh.
can also get a lot of different
We love
food
that.
choices in one spot. So there's
Mhm.
Thai, there's Buxton Chicken Palace, there's a Peruvian food kiosk in there. There's the hops. If you got kiddos, that's always a fun stop. If I'm with a bunch of girlfriends, I love La Bodega Bacurate and sitting up at that wine bar. I don't always drink beer when I go out, so I definitely enjoy so many things that are crafted here in Asheville, and that's a great spot. They want a great burger, man, the vault downtown, and they have 20-ounce beers at a great price. That is a go-to spot too. And I loved Mark Tree Vineyard out in Hendersonville. So if you haven't been there, that is an awesome local winery. They make beautiful, beautiful wine, and the setting is beautiful. The hospitality is top notch. I take people there often.
Cool. Wow, you made me. I love food halls. Food halls are the coolest thing ever.
That's our
They really
one
are.
of our favorites.
It's such a cool concept, and the S&W Market is actually in an old 1920s beautiful, beautiful Art Deco building, and it was originally the S&W cafeteria. So it's kind of a reimagining of its original purpose, and it's a really cool thing right in the heart of downtown Asheville. So the architecture is cool. You've got some eye candy and several different food options for everyone. And of course, our Highland beer is available on draft.
Go girl, sell it.
Yep.
Because I mean, seriously, that's a big deal. But I mean, these food halls are such a good concept for small restaurants to be able to actually do something and not have the whole overhead. And for visitors, locals, you can go in and have it's so cool. But Steve and Karen, like next time we see you, which won't be long, we need to go there. Okay, so because
I know we definitely, that's one of our favorites. So we will take you there.
We have not been there yet. We have to go. Okay, so John, what about you?
For drink, I like to go pretty much everywhere. I love the pleb for wine and sometimes drink a beer. The First Week Camp also. I love the beer over there. And I think it's from Burial Brewery.
Yeah, we dare not talk about another but
Well,
would you like
there's a
first?
lot.
Yes.
Certainly, you're welcome to share your favorites.
This is one of, well, Ireland is my favorite too, but you're not the only one.
We also like to take, we love to take people for a drink in the lobby at the Grove Park Inn,
Oh, yeah.
sit by the fire, or take them out on the terrace. That's beautiful.
Mm,
Mhm.
nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
9
Okay, so-
Mile, that's near Karen and Steve
Mhm.
in Montford.
Yes.
That's an
That's
awesome
true.
restaurant. Kind of
Definitely.
Caribbean. Yeah, I love 9 Mile.
Mm,
Chestnut downtown is one of my
Yeah.
favorite as well.
mm.
You guys have so many options, and I think the brewery
Yeah, it's
scene
cool.
brings everybody together. It kind of like makes it a
Mhm.
destination, but you can't have just beer without food. We need the food. And I
Right.
love that you guys are teaching cooking. And I was
Mm.
watching your video today, John and Lisa, watching like a newlywed couple going in for a cooking class. And I'm like, yeah, that's a smart move. Like
Mhm.
seriously.
Yeah,
And I think for date
self-protection.
night, I think, because you're learning something together and everybody's a little different about it, but I think there's just so much you can do with this. I mean, even just, showers, bridal showers, and all these events, like you're saying, corporate events, it gets people thinking. And I think all of
Mhm.
this about Eat, Drink, Be Merry. Yes, there's the fun and we can all have a big party, but tasting takes
Mhm.
time, and
Mhm.
we all talk about meditation and all those zones and focusing in on things, but tasting and truly tasting makes us focus without all that monkey mind stuff in our head, right? All that monkey mind chatter. It just
Mhm.
allows us to experience and zone in on something that our bodies know how to do, but we need to focus in and let our bodies do, right? So it just getting on a
Mhm.
little spiritual
Well,
pathway there. Tasting is a spiritual practice.
it's an art, and there's your taste buds on your tongue do different things at different times. So I know what was that commercial, swirl it clockwise or whatever? You really do need to make sure the beer touches all sides of your tongue, and then try to do one side at a time.
By the way, Nancy drinks beer like a dog in a dog bowl. No, I'm
I know.
kidding.
No,
To make it all happen.
but I do the
That's
same
the
with wine.
ultimate drinking vessel.
I know,
Yes.
it's like, no, if you put the beer on one
Asheville's
side of
dog
your
friendly.
mouth, it will taste different than on the other side. And if you put it at the tip of your tongue, it will taste
Tastes
different
different.
than on the side of
Yeah,
your mouth.
yeah. That's a
And
thing.
it
True.
takes time. It's, if you're just
I-
going to
I-
swallow it down, it's just to get drunk or something. But if you're going to taste
What?
as opposed to drink, you need to swirl it clockwise. I'm sorry.
Oh, here we go. Well, thank you guys for joining us. On that note, we're going to get to our second segment soon, but everyone go to cottagecookingasheville.com and hang out with John and Lisa over there and get some classes. And if you're, going to the B&B, go, hang out at the cooking cottage. And if you are, I'm calling it the cooking cottage. Is that, I can say that, right?
Cottage cooking.
Cottage cooking.
Cottage
Yeah.
cooking, okay.
Go to the cottage. But then, go to the brewery too. You've got to do that. Highland Brewing Company. Go to highlandbrewing.com. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks so
Thank
much
you for
Thanks
having
for
us.
Yeah,
Thank you all.
No, thanks, everybody.
Everybody stay out
cheers.
of the dog bowl. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone, you're listening to Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show. And of course, this airs every first Tuesdays with our friends, Steve and Karen Wilson. We call them Mr. and Mrs. Wild of Asheville. They own and run the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast in the Montford Historic District of Asheville. So go to lion-rose.com. So this is really our Eat, Drink, and Be Merry show. Because you know what? Asheville has the Blue Ridge Parkway. They have the Arboretum. There's the Biltmore. There's Smoky Mountains National Park nearby. We talk about all these Chimney Rock, all these amazing places, trolley tours, all kinds of cool things, history. But it is Beer City, USA. But there's all kinds of libations to enjoy all around, and there's all kinds of good food. So today we're delving into the eat, drink, and be merry scene. And of course, you've got to start at the bed and breakfast at the Lion and the Rose. So we're on our second part of the show right now. We had for part one, where we were chatting with Nikki Mitchell from Highland Brewing Company, and part two, and also we had it's cottage cooking. I kept calling them the cooking cottage because it just felt cozy. John Gotts and Lisa Andreasen, go to cottagecookingasheville.com. I'll give them another website shout out for all my mistakes there. But because they teach people how to cook, and we all need that, I think, But Steve and Karen, Steve, you brew beer, and Karen, I know you love to bake. So what is baking right now for your guests, Karen?
Well, right now we're closed, so really no baking going on. But for February, we're going to be focusing on chocolate, just doing chocolate desserts. And Steve is brewing a nice stout to go with that.
Chocolate
very
stout.
nice. Very nice. Ooh, chocolate stout, some chocolates. I remember brownies, when we were there last time. There's been cookies, there's been brownies, and then breakfast. Ooh, breakfast. Steve, what is the latest hit breakfast-wise? There's those cups.
Well, we always do our
cups.
traditional. We always do our traditional orange ricotta pancakes with sausage and the ham egg cheese cup.
You said
that's
sausage?
our traditional Sunday with the beer mosa. Yes, I
said
sausage.
They do the tea.
Sausage.
Sausage.
We will be trying some new things for this year.
All right. So everyone, we did a sausage day show last year because Steve, when he cooks breakfast, if it's sausage, he sings Sausage Day. And Ozzy and Oreo, they're two little Shih Tzus, know it's Sausage Day. They get excited because they know they get tidbits afterwards. And we ended up doing a Sausage Day show. October 1st is National Sausage Day. Who knew? And who knew that we would end up doing 4 hours of Sausage Day footage from around the country and around the world? England, South Africa, we had Louisiana, Asheville, California, New York. I mean, it was pretty insane. So anyway, you guys are bad influences, but we love it. So today's we're going to go to a brewery. We're going to go to a distillery. And we're also going to learn about ginger beer today. So our next guest, I'm going to bring Mike Semenek on the show. He's a co-founder of Dissolver, and this is the website, DSSOLVR.com. So Dissolver. And they're cool because they have alien beer and a whole bunch of other beers. So welcome, Mike. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on today. It's a super pleasure. So stoked to be on your podcast.
Hey, listen, so Sausage Day, what would you pair in your brewery right now? Like, what would you pair with sausage?
Oh, easily one of our Pilsners would do really well with any sausage, I'd say. So right now we actually have an Italian style Pilsner on. We call that one Cold Caprese Pizza, but would go handedly with a sausage fest there.
Ooh. All right. You guys have to all come back on the show for this. Like Sausage Day is happening again this year. It's become a thing. So, and Dissolver, tell us about the name. How did this come up? Because you guys opened in 2019, like a really good time. Before the pandemic. I was reading, I was like, dude, we all need your beer now. Right.
Right. Yeah. But the name it comes from a blend of, the greater Asheville area, awesome people, and some good beverages blending together or dissolving together as you may take it. So yeah, I wanted all those to incorporate into one vibe, and that's how we got Dissolver.
Nancy, I think he wins the award today because we're Big Blend.
Yeah,
he said blend.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I think he got an award today. I think a thumbs up award. I don't know. He gets an extra link on the sausage.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I want to go to our next guest too. We got Joe Ragazzo, Ragazzo, let me get this right. He's the CEO of Two Trees Distilling, and you can go to twotreesdistilling.com. And I apparently found out that you can go there 7 days a week and have a free whiskey tasting. I'm just saying, they're based out of Fletcher, and we'll find out where that is. But welcome, Joe. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And yes, you can visit us 7 days a week, because I know here in North Carolina, liquor stores aren't open on Sunday. So, but we can give out some free whiskey on Sunday.
What do you mean? What do you mean that what?
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah, you can't buy.
No, you can't buy spirits on Sunday in North Carolina. Now, I moved here about 16 months ago from Louisville, Kentucky, the heart of bourbon whiskey, and found my way to Two Trees. And it's been a great transition. We love it here. But one thing about North Carolina, they have some different regulatory laws around alcohol. But the good news is you can come here and find us. We have an array of different flavored whiskeys, spirits, bourbons that you can try.
What got you guys started in that? And I actually want to go to your name, Two Trees Distilling, because right now we're sitting in the middle of the Pisgah. I wouldn't say Pisgah, but the Pisgah National Forest, however you say it.
Right.
And we love it. We're right in the forest right now in Burnsville. So I don't know where you are from us in Fletcher, but there's something about trees. And of course, isn't that part of the aging process for what you're distilling?
Exactly, Lisa. So in the traditional methods of creating whiskey and bourbon specifically, you have to have new charred oak white barrels, right? White oak barrels. And
okay.
So, and it has to be aged. It is aged anywhere from 6 months to whenever the distiller decides to pull it out of the barrel. And that's where the barrel gives all the color and added flavors to a whiskey. So at Two Trees, what brought me here to Two Trees, they've been in business now here in Fletcher for about 5 years. We're at 17 Continuum Drive in Fletcher. And we have a unique process where we sustainably mature our whiskeys, meaning that we have a technology here that we use, that you put it in our machine along with specific white oak chips or any types of different woods. And in 24 hours, we can take a clear spirit and turn it into a product that tastes like a 3 to 4 year old bourbon.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's
cool. So cool.
Yeah, it's very unique in that there's not. We're the only ones that do this type of process in the U.S. There's some other things that people use to try to. They call it rapid aging. We like to call it sustainably maturing because in an oak tree, fully matured, it takes about 80 to 120 years. And when they harvest that tree, you can get 2 barrels of traditional whiskey out of that tree, 2 barrels of 53 gallons each. The rest of that tree gets scrapped and it goes to different things. The white oak is a very precious commodity. With our process, since we only need to use about 10% oak of what produces a barrel, we can use limbs, we can use the knotted wood, we can use distressed wood, and within one tree, we can replicate enough whiskey that would come out of 27 barrels.
Wow. Have you taken your barrels after you've done that and given it to breweries? I've been to some.
Actually, we don't even use barrels. We take oak, we chip it, and we put it through this our machine, our technology, and when the product comes out as an aged whiskey or bourbon, we take those chips and then we put them through another process where we constrict it and squeeze every last bit of alcohol content out of the wood. And we produce a product that's called liquid oak concentrate. And we can use this concentrate in beer and in wine to give it a barrel, an oaky barrel taste. And I want to talk to you later. Talk to you later, Mike, because I think we can turn you on to a process. We use this. We've used a concentrate in a couple of breweries around town here already.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that at some point.
This is cool. Can people take tours and see what you're doing, or is it like, do you have to have a NASA clearance or something?
Yeah. Well, for special VIPs like you, Lisa, and the team, we can give you a special tour. But typically, we go to our tasting room. We have a clear glass panel. People can see in the back all the goings on.
Oh, okay, cool.
That happens.
Okay, how far are you from Asheville?
Well, I right now I'm living in Biltmore Village, so it takes me about 20 minutes down Hendersonville Road.
Oh, that's not far. Yeah.
By the airport. Not far from the airport.
The
10 Twinkly Light Village. I call it the Twinkly Light Village.
Twinkly Lights. Right. I feel like I'm in Switzerland.
Yeah, it is. It's like twinkly lights. Okay, so we want to go over and get some Ginger's Revenge now. I love the name, and I'm just super excited about this. So gingersrevenge.com is a website to go to, and we're going to chat with David Eckley and Andy Wiggum. David is the co-founder and CEO. Andy is the marketing and events coordinator. And I want to bring David on first. David, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having us on.
Hey, we're excited. Andy, how are you doing?
Doing so well, Lisa.
Hey, this is exciting about what you guys are doing. David, Nancy and I were talking about this earlier. I mean, ginger beer was part of my growing up, and it's just nothing. I think maybe in Florida, a few international markets kind of things I've been able to get it, but not like a beer. They've kind of made it more cider. It's just not what you're doing. So can you give us a little background of you bringing ginger over here? Because I'm just like, oh, I got to come see you. I need a fix. That's basically it. I need a childhood teenage fix and older than teenage fix. But how did that happen that you brought ginger beer here?
Yeah, sure. And I'll back up even further a little bit. A lot of people, myself included, when we first started the business, don't realize that ginger beer has a lot of history behind it. It actually originated in the 17 and 1800s as worldwide trade was increasing, and ginger was being imported into England and North America. And at one point in time, there were over 500 producers of ginger beer in North America. When I was doing my research, I came across some information that suggested that prior to Prohibition, there was actually just as much ginger beer flowing as hopped beer and cider. And that kind of sparked the business idea. My first introduction to alcoholic ginger beer, a cousin of mine brought it to a family reunion. And as a home brewer, I looked at the label and said, you know what, I can make that. My wife and I were living in Panama at the time, and the ingredients for ginger beer were pretty easy to find down there. Cane sugar, lemon juice, lime juice. So started making it in Central America. When my wife and I moved up to Asheville in 2012, the ginger beer had become a staple in our household. We started serving it at homebrew events and festivals, and just getting really positive feedback. And looking at the industry, the growth in the gluten-free market really felt like an opportunity that we had to pursue. And we knew that if we didn't do it, somebody else would. So we decided to take the leap and incorporated the business in 2015.
Wow. That's like, let's just go for it. Like, really. Yeah. I mean, did you look at your background and go, we're good at this, so we can do that? Or did you just go 100% boldly into ginger beer waters?
Yeah, a little more of the latter. Yeah, it was really a passion project. And like I said, it felt like something we had to do. It felt like a calling.
Yeah.
So it was to take the leap.
It's good. Ginger is really good for your body. I want to go to Andy with this because I know you also do non-alcoholic drinks, which I think is great because so many people, so many bars and restaurants are turning to mocktails too. But ginger beer itself, whether it's alcoholic or not, but it is ginger is huge. It in regards to if you study Ayurveda and things like that, you'll read about how good it is for your body. But do you see that happening in with Ginger's Revenge, that people recognize the medicinal benefits and are drawn to what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can't necessarily claim anything about the benefits of our alcoholic ginger beer just because, it is an alcoholic product, everything in moderation, that sort of thing. But you kind of do get that feeling of it's a much lighter product. Ginger does have anti-inflammatory properties. It's really good for gut health, that sort of thing. So we do see a lot of people coming to us saying, we can't do the gluten, and this is such a great product for us, whether or not they are gluten.
Oh, yeah.
It just has become a staple in a lot of households for people who want a lighter, unique beverage.
Wow. So this is exciting for people to have this. And so you've got the South Slope Lounge. Is that where people go and get this mostly?
Yeah, so we have our two locations. Our brewery and Riverside Tasting Room is where everything, kind of began. That opened in March of 2017, about 6 years ago. And then we just opened the South Slope Lounge about 5 months ago here in downtown Asheville. We're right below Buxton Hall Barbecue, if you're familiar. So right in the heart of the South Slope. You can get our non-alcoholic beverages at both locations. We've always been a place where we feel like no matter your beverage persuasion, there should be something for you. So we've always had some great non-alcoholics stocked up. But we have recently found an opportunity to try our hand at the non-alcoholic game. So we've been canning a really delicious ginger soda and our Tulsi peppermint tea. And those are available in the cans at our Riverside location and on draft at our South Slope location. And along with those, we also have some homemade shrubs and some exciting mocktails that we've just debuted this past week. So we're hopping on that train of dry January, but we definitely foresee this lasting much longer than that.
I think, the dry January, a lot of people do it and then they just keep going, and it's also just kind of slowing down a little bit, regrouping on your health, and so it's a cool thing. But do you package, can people buy it in grocery stores or get it in restaurants? And I want to go to everybody on that so people know, how to get it. So for Ginger's Revenge, where can people get it besides you, or do they just go right to you?
Yeah, so like Andy mentioned, we've got the two taproom locations. Our Ginger's Revenge product lineup can be found across the state of North Carolina in about 650 different bars, restaurants, grocery stores across the state. And we also just launched into South Carolina, so we're starting to make some inroads there.
Very cool.
Anybody would like to try to find our product, check out the beer finder, find.gingersrevenge.com.
Oh, cool. That is exciting. And I want to go over to Joe. Tell us a little bit where people can get Two Trees Distilling. Is it just at the tasting room, or can we get it on the shelves?
Sure. Yeah. In North Carolina, we first and foremost, like you said, we would love to have you come down to our tasting room and where you can taste all of our products. But in North Carolina,
do you have a bed and breakfast attached too? Just saying.
Well,
when I go on your website, I'm going to need some help.
Well, we can always put up a cot for you, Lisa. Not a problem.
Okay.
But on the shelves in the stores here in North Carolina, you can find our sea salted caramel whiskey, our
Mm,
Carolina
good.
peach,
Yum yum.
and in certain locations also our wood crafted just 2 trees bourbon whiskey.
Ooh, okay. So when we talk about sausage, what would you pair with from 2 trees?
Well, let's
Like,
go. I think it depends on the sausage. What's the
oh,
flavor of the sausage?
well, we
So if
could,
you,
don't, I could go in so many flavors after that
yeah,
show. I didn't know things like what
yeah,
people stuff things in sausage, food and
exactly.
sausage. Boudin from Louisiana. There's chorizo. I mean, like, okay, so let's go with a spicy sausage.
Yeah,
Let's
so I
go with
think
like
it,
a chorizo. Yeah.
yeah,
What would you do?
I think that with chorizo, I think you would probably use maybe an old fashioned would be
Mm,
really good with that, with a little cherry and not so spicy taste of whiskey.
Ooh, that's a nice
Mm.
balance. That is like that's like the full
mm-hmm.
flavor profile. Okay, so Ginger's Revenge, we got to go back to you on the sausage because everybody has to have the sausage pairing. Who knew we were going to go into that? But of course, Sausage Day will prevail. So David or Andy, do you have a pairing you want to suggest with, come on, we could put some ginger in sausage too. Ooh, that could
Mm.
be
For
interesting.
chorizo, I have to go lime agave. Lime
Ooh,
agave goes great with a lot of different cuisines, but yeah, Latin food for sure. It's got a
Mm-hmm.
hint of sweetness to balance that chorizo heat. Andy's quite a culinary specialist. What do you think?
I would definitely say the original would be good. Nice and dry. Gonna get some good ginger heat to complement any spiciness of the sausage. Maybe some of if we go with like a more fennel-based sausage, that original is gonna really kill it. Yeah.
oh,
Our products
did
will
we
be
talk?
Sounds good.
I don't know if we got into the fennel in the sausage yet, because that's important. That goes more Italian, right? When we start
Mhm.
adding the fennel. Yeah, we gotta.
Mm.
I smell a second, sausage day coming up for sure. It's gonna happen. Mike,
Mm.
going to dissolve. Where can we get your alien beer?
Well,
It's stuck on that label.
yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
distribute throughout the whole state. So most bottle shops, and you'll even find our product on draft at a ton of local bars and restaurants throughout the state. But obviously, the best place to go is come to our tap room in downtown. We're right on North Lexington, 63 North Lexington Ave. So yeah, that's by far the best spot. We have 24 taps running right now, and that includes 2 cask engines, 2 check side pulls, and then we just actually installed the 2-bay slushy machine. So we got some slush rolling out too.
Yeah.
So in addition to beer, you can find some mead, wine, and cider on tap here too. So yeah, we
Tasty.
have
Mead. That's
oh yeah,
cool.
it's mead. And then yeah, that's the natural wine game is something we've turned on recently as well. And that's been a lot of fun.
Wow. So that's with the honey, and then at the same time, you're still using grapes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So are you sourcing grapes from North Carolina for your wine and mead, or do you have
Yeah,
to go
actually,
out of state?
yeah. Actually, all of our grapes are organic, locally sourced grapes from North Carolina. So we work with our buddies over at Plea Bourbon Winery, and they help us source all our grapes. So we run like a similar setup as they do, but a little smaller scale to fit inside our brewery.
Oh, yeah. So this is fascinating what's going on here. So do you guys all kind of look at Asheville, obviously all the natural beauty and the historic beauty? Are you looking at Asheville, let's start with you, Mike, as a culinary destination for foodies, winos, brew people, like
Hello.
anybody that is, like into good food, good flavor?
Oh, absolutely. It's probably right up there with like a reason to visit Asheville. You got your mountains, but then you have our food and wine scene, our beer scene here. It's just a amazing place to imbibe and enjoy the scenery for sure.
Wow.
I like it. Mm-hmm. Mm.
So I do. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I hear Nancy's back. We lost Nancy for a while. Are you
I
there,
know.
Nancy?
Uh-oh.
She's here. She got,
I'm
I
in
think
the
she heard about,
I'm in
beer
the
and
top
whiskey.
floor. I'm in the attic.
Oh, she's in the attic. Yeah. So that means you've been drinking far more than all of us.
I know because
Um,
I found
Oh,
bottles up here. Well,
oh, it happens when you're in the woods and you're in the Pisgah forest. Listen, it's
no.
beautiful. Listen, there's nothing like, there is something that happens to you here. And
Yeah.
Steve and Karen introduced us to the good life of Asheville. And
Mhm.
I think we keep circling back. Something happens.
yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
your body just all of a sudden just stops. Like I think last night we went to bed and we're like, that's it. We're at peace. We're at home. We had, a nice libation and a nice dinner. And then all of a sudden our bodies just went into, ah, yeah, we're finally home kind of feeling. And I think there's something about that.
Mhm.
Steve and Karen, does that happen to your guests? I know it happened to us, but do you see that happen all the
Definitely.
time? Yeah.
Mhm.
We do. We get a lot of repeat guests just
Mm.
because they love the vibe of the area. It's just a different setting than most people are used to. You got the mountains, you got the beer, you got the food. So you got everything to make you feel the comforts of home, but yet you have this beautiful nature surrounding you, and then all these fun events and different things going on.
Yeah.
The people are mellow.
Everyone's
You know,
chilled out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
chill.
that's a big thing. Like when you walk down the city street, I'm not
Right.
afraid to walk down the streets in your city. Now,
Mhm.
coming from
Yeah.
LA, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
no, it's true.
well,
No
So
comparison.
yeah.
yeah.
It,
And there is something really nice about being able to walk out the door of a bed and breakfast, go around the block, walk a few blocks away, and not feel worried. And
True.
Asheville has that.
Yeah,
it really
I
does.
agree.
That's
That's
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's one of the things that attracted us here. Being in the alcohol beverage business, a lot of times when we go to dinner, we forego a table and we always sit at the bar because there's always more fun at the bar, either talking to the bartender and talking to people. We've met more people in Asheville in the 16 months that we were here than in 5 years in Louisville, Kentucky. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's just
believe
a
it.
friendly environment.
Joe, so that's where it
Yeah.
started from you coming from Louisville. So understanding the
Mm.
whole Bourbon Trail and all of that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the
We've
bourbon.
done part of it. We were in Springfield, Kentucky. Was it Springfield or Springville?
Springville.
Springfield. It's where Lincoln's parents
It's
were
about the bourbon.
united. And we went to Bardstown, did all that
Yeah.
area. And I mean, it's beautiful out there, but I think, Joe, I was going to go back to you with this. We're in the woods. There's something about at the end of the day, having, bourbon or whiskey in the woods when it's soaked in the wood. There's like a weird connection. Like you can't,
Yeah.
I think like your beverage says, I'm with my family in the woods, like when you're in a mountain setting,
If you're drinking anything that's a brown spirit, it came from wood. So you're returning it right back to nature. Unless it's artificially flavored. So let me
No,
say
we don't.
that.
Well, okay. So now let's go to, because you do vodka too. So
Yeah, but that
that's a
comes
whole,
from potatoes, I thought.
yeah. What are you doing for, what's going on with vodka?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do a little bit of vodka, but that's basically when you get all distilled spirits right from the still are clear.
Mm.
So vodka is just another distilled spirit, and it's all about the mash bill, which are the grains that go into the product. So typically bourbon and whiskey has to be at least 51% corn, and then they use either wheat, rye, or barley malt to round out the rest of the grains. And they
So
all give you,
vodka doesn't come from potatoes?
it does. Vodka can come
Oh.
from anything that makes starch and sugar. So
Oh,
vodka comes.
okay.
You can make like Ciroc is a grape vodka
Mm.
made from grapes.
So wait a minute. So wait, David, can you make vodka with ginger?
Oh, you could.
You could
You could
infuse
do a
it.
ginger infused vodka.
Yeah,
we,
Why not?
we actually did a very small scale experiment a number of years ago, distilling some of our ginger beer. It was pretty interesting. Like I said, it was very small. We probably started with about a pint of ginger beer and got, I don't know, less than an ounce of distillate. But can it be done? Absolutely.
I need to talk to you.
Yeah, let's
I want to do like a allspice vodka.
Yeah.
That like when you don't know what you're doing in the kitchen, and there's a little tin of allspice, and it's got everything in it. Just pour it in, dude. It works. So I think like allspice vodka sounds.
I love that. I love that. It's yeah. I think this is really cool to hear everybody on the show today about, because I hope that you all follow up and chat, because I know Nancy and I want to go hang out with all of you and see what you're doing. Because David, tell us, like, what are you doing with the ginger and how do you get it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's ginseng apparently up in these woods. I heard about that, and mushroom people.
But we used to grow ginger we used to grow ginger in Africa.
Beware of the mushroom people.
No, they are here. I've seen them on the webcams of the place we are. They have nature webcams, and they're showing us bears and bear babies and everything. But then they're like, here's this dude out on the property harvesting mushrooms that has no permission. And by the way, you're safe.
Pants. Wasn't a good.
You saw his butt crack. Yeah,
I know. It was
but
really
it's like
bad.
he's on the webcams or whatever, your nature cams,
and so they're mushrooms off this
stealing
property.
mushrooms off the property, and they're like, "Don't worry, you can leave your keys in the car." And I'm like, "No," but anyway, but he's like, "There's ginseng. People are coming out here for medicinal plants. There's like this forest is like a hub of biodiversity. That's the point. I mean, it really is magical."
Then you see a mama bear with like 4 cubs, and I'm like hoping she meets the mushroom boy.
Oh, okay. Now he's a boy. Okay. You okay. But David, going back to that, where you're getting, going back to ginseng, but ginger, where are you getting the ginger? Like, how do you source it? And how do you work with it? Are you brewing? Like, are you boiling? Like, what are you doing? I want to come see what you guys are all doing. It's like scientific.
Well, yeah, come on out for a tour.
Do you do tours for people? Like, I know we're media side, but like, do people get to see anything or no?
Yeah, we don't have regularly scheduled tours so much, but we've got our 6-year anniversary coming up, March 10th through 12th. And
cool.
We're doing several special tours around that time. We're going to do a founders tour, a production tour, a marketing tour. And a lot of these are going to help raise money for the nonprofit that we've picked to support over our 6-year anniversary weekend. So definitely sign up for one of those.
Very cool. So you're working with nonprofits. Cool. That's really nice. I think that's something also cool about Asheville. You're dog friendly. You guys raise money, and I mean, so many of the businesses we've been into, restaurants, do things, and also are like protective of our land. It seems like you guys are sustainable too, like all working towards that.
We try to support the community. One of the things we wanted to do just for sustainability was use organic products as much as possible. So most, if not all, of the ginger that we use is certified organic from Peru.
Wow. No way.
We've used a little bit of locally grown ginger, but ginger is a tropical plant, so it really does best closer to the equator. Otherwise, it needs to be in a greenhouse. To get into our process a little bit, we steep the ginger in hot water, strain it out, and then the fermentable ingredient for our product is organic cane sugar. So we have this big hot steep going. We add the sugar. We have a proprietary spice blend that we throw in.
It's sounding yummy to me right now. I'm like, I want to dive in there, but not when it's too hot.
Sounds good.
But I know. Okay, sorry, carry on. But I'm really like, you're making me hungry. I don't know why.
After that, we ferment with an ale yeast. That part of the process is pretty similar to making conventional beer. We do have to support the sugar ferment with some additional nutrition. That makes our process a little similar to winemaking or cider making.
Oh, wow.
From there, we take our alcoholic ginger beer base, and it becomes the canvas on which we paint a whole product line. Ginger works with so many different types of flavors. We've really pushed the limit of the different combinations that you can do. And since a lot of our inputs are imported, we try to feature local produce, especially in the summertime, with our summer herbal series. So we have a Thai basil, a Kenyan blue basil. Our fall harvest ginger beer often incorporates local ingredients like anise hyssop. We've used some local pumpkins in there before. So we definitely like to dabble in the local produce and support local as much as we can.
You have made me hungry. I know we're talking about drinks, but you've made me hungry completely. I don't know about eating yeast, but the rest of it, it just all sounds delicious. I mean, and there's something so refreshing about ginger too. Here's the thing. We go back to old Jack and Ginger, right? So like, I'm thinking, like distillery and ginger, like, come on. There's a match made in heaven there with a little bit of ginger and whiskey. Like, what do you think? I'm just saying, Joe, that could be good. I do. I love that idea a lot. I'm Nancy, we're going to have to circle back to Asheville again. Like, I'm just saying.
Oh gosh, what a hard
darn.
Look what you guys have started, Steve and Karen. Guys are the Mr. and Mrs. Wild of Asheville, truly. But now look, wild. Ooh. I really want Indian food now. I can't help it.
There's several good places.
Oh, seriously. Let's talk about the neighbor, not the neighbor. We don't want the neighbors, unless you're going to gossip and like peek over their fence, right? Come on.
I like to gossip about
neighborhood
neighbors.
Gossip. But let's talk about someone, knocking on your doorstep suddenly out of the blue going, "Hi, I'm home. I'm here. I haven't seen you for years. And we decided to just pop in." The pop in. We all love the pop ins.
Good for you.
Yeah. Everyone's seen that episode of Seinfeld. The pop in. We don't want the pop ins, but the pop ins happen. And then we're happy because they're friends and family. But they, first thing is, what are we going to feed you? What are we going to have? Some libation and some merriment must happen. If the pop-in happens, you've got to have something to ease you out. So where are we going? What are we eating? What are we drinking? So I want to start with you, Joe. What happens when the pop-in happens? Where are you going? Where are you taking the pop-ins? Everybody, by the way, is over 21. So just saying.
Okay.
Adult pop-ins.
The first thing I always ask is, how long are you staying? Because I'm only going to give you 2 days.
Is that before you let them in the door or on the outside of the door?
No. So it depends on the guest. So for eats in the morning or early afternoon, I like going to, we always go to All Day Darling down in Montford. And we have a nice selection of foods, very good. The people are great there. If we're going in for an evening, there's a new restaurant we started going to out by the Grove Park Inn called Elder. Very good. They make their homemade pasta. It's all homemade. It's got a nice little bar to sit at for some cocktails, and it's a very nice dining experience there. Now for drinks, after we're done serving my 2 trees at our place.
Did you hear how he just got so excited
lively
for drinks? Suddenly the tone of voice just jumped.
That's always secondary on the menu for me. So in the morning we like going to Farewell on South Slope to get some coffee or matcha lattes there. And then for the weekends or evenings, there's always Little Jumbo, great cocktail bar, and that's what they serve is basically cocktails, and they're very fashionable. Or you go downtown after dinner and go to the Crave Dessert Bar, which is currently serving our sea salted caramel in one of their winter drinks.
Oh, that
I
sounds
didn't
so
know that.
good though.
Do you
Sea
want
salty.
yeah, do you want the Be Merry?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So depending on the time of year, on the weekends now, we because of the football season, I'm a big football fan. We go to the beer garden downtown, and they're serving our Two Trees barrel bourbon aged seltzer. So that's a good place to go. And then we also like to take folks on the water, some waterfall hikes, and
Nice.
maybe during the summer we catch a tourist ball game. They're always fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I like the hikes. See, because like we have special backpacks that take things in their backpacks. We have secret hidden pockets, and when you meet us, I'll show you.
Do you have some cozies to keep it chilled?
Actually, it has an insulated pocket. I have insulated pockets, everyone, and I walk around. You'll never know.
Hidden
Listen,
insulated pocket.
I mean, I've been pulled over in Indiana cornfield. I was not drinking, but I had my insulated wine packaged in there, and no one knew. So anyway, so I was not drinking at all. So just to be very clear, I'm not about drinking and driving.
You were driving.
Listen, when you go through cornfield, you're going to, and they go 50 to 55 to 50 to 55. You are going to get pulled over because it just
they do
becomes
it
one
on
big
purpose.
sea.
It's like like a mile, it's 60, and then for the next
it's 50 to
55, and then it goes and it keeps going back and forth, and you're like, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up, and then
here he comes. But I was fine. They checked, I'm fine. But no, listen, I think I love the hiking. When you hike, Steve and Karen know, they took us to, it was Stewart's Knob. Let me get the knobs right again. Stewart's Knob that you took us?
Because that's different than George's knob.
Whose knob? What knob? Which one?
Sam Knob.
Sam Knob. Okay, in Pisgah Forest, so it's not far from us. Well, Pisgah Forest is huge. But we went on that amazing hike, and at the end, we always like to have our wine with a view or whatever we're going to drink, right? Wine will last in our little baggies better than bubbles, but 1 hour to hike, and then you can open the baggie and drink. And it's all insulated and cool, and it's very nice. But you should be able to enjoy your sips in nature. It's the best way to enjoy, the libation. So I think you guys have the perfect background for that. We're going to come see you, Joe, for sure. We're going to see all of you at some point as we keep coming back and forth to wonderful Asheville. But I want to go to you over, David, at Ginger's Revenge. You got the knock on the door. Where are you going?
Yeah, my go-to recommendation is always 9 Mile. They've got 3 locations in Asheville, and for Asheville locals, it's just a go-to. Can be sometimes hard to get in. I often go to the west location. It's a little easier to get in there. I think Montford usually has like an hour and a half wait.
Wow.
9 Mile. I go to breweries to
Go
visit.
hang over with Steve and Karen and get some homemade brew. Just saying, while you wait to just get a room. Just get a room.
We got the easy walk. We can walk there, put our name on the list, walk back, sit on the porch or in the parlor, have a drink, and then go back.
Perfect setup, right?
Wow.
That was perfect. Well done, David.
Wow.
Well done. But carry on. Continue on. Sorry, I had to interrupt.
Yeah, one of my favorite breweries to visit is Hillman. They've got 2 locations, one in Biltmore Village and another one out in Old Fort. So if you're at the Biltmore, definitely stop by Hillman for a sandwich and a beer. They make fantastic beer. And Old Fort, if you're out doing trails or coming back from Lake James, it's a nice stop.
You said sandwich and beer. There's nothing like that. And so I've got to go to Mike over at Dissolver, the man with the alien beer and all kinds of beers. I'm sorry, but listen, I can pack your beer and take that on a hike, right? I'm allowed. I know I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just keep it in the can, and then you can take the can out with you. Don't leave it anywhere. Take
Take
home.
that can back with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because listen, your can, I want to create art out of your cans. Like
Oh,
the
thank
designs
you.
are so cool. Like I think, well, because listen, I don't know if anybody is like me that now we travel full time, so I can't do it anymore. But I used to collect coasters at all the breweries I went to, and like I used to have one
You
wall
could
of my
build a
room
house out
that
of
was
them.
all out of coasters from around the world. But now I can't do that because the car can only carry so much. So anyway, I'll take beer in the car.
Yeah, there you
Not
go.
drink it while I'm driving, but anyway. So I'm just saying, but the art on your cans to me is just like let's party. You've got some crazy cool fun. You've made it really fun.
Oh, thank
Your brewery
you.
seems really fun, and so we want to go. But where are you gonna go? Like, where are you gonna go with friends that knock on the door or family and say, "Hello, we're here"?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna assume they're showing up early, so we're gonna have a full day of awesomeness going on throughout Asheville. So first, we're gonna get some morning grub. We're gonna head over to the Med right in downtown, and we're gonna get just some easy breakfast biscuits or a breakfast burrito there, and then yeah, we'll take off from there. And because it's I'm gonna assume it's a Saturday, we're gonna start drinking a little earlier. So we'll pop around the South Slope a little bit, maybe play some pickleball at that new Asheville Sports Club, and then we'll make our way back through downtown. Of course, stop by Dissolver for a quick beverage or two. The round's on me.
Right on.
Yeah, from there maybe
can you drink and play pickleball at the same time?
Yeah, but doesn't mean you do good.
Sure can.
I listen. I just learned how to play cornhole the other day, like a few months ago. Like finally did that, and I'm still giggling. And listen, I learned about that in Kentucky. No, I'm just saying. A friend from Kentucky told us about cornhole, and every time we talked about it on a radio show, we started giggling. And everybody in Kentucky started calling her, going, "Why are these girls giggling about cornhole?" She said, "They're from California. That's why."
It's a national pastime there.
Cornhole is fun. So is
some of the
pickleball
boards
as fun as
that
cornhole?
you're supposed to throw what I would call a beanbag through the cornhole.
Yes.
Sounds really good.
Oh yeah.
Some of the paintings.
I don't want to go into the name cornhole.
No. Okay, but some of the paintings on the boards are descriptive. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Cornhole has been a thing, and I finally did it. Pickleball, cornhole. I mean, sorry, but this all sounds like drinking games to me. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah.
And you should be drinking while you play those games.
Well, yeah,
So
because if
what
you
is
do
pickleball?
I think
I
if you
thought
do
this
it
was
sober,
for
there's
people in
something wrong with you.
pickleball. I always thought was for people in retirement areas, like retirement home things, and now I'm finding out it's not. So
no, you got the wrong ball.
Mike, help me with what
pickleball's
pickle is my
like
ball.
less intense tennis, more intense ping pong, I'd say. So you're playing with
it's like a ping pongy thing.
That's a good description.
Smaller tennis court. You're playing with paddles and a wiffle ball. So
this sounds great.
It's a little slower, but than tennis. But
listen,
more movement than ping pong.
Beer and paddles are involved. It sounds like fun to me.
No.
All right, so there we got that. So okay,
so dangerous.
So we're playing pickleball. We're getting beer. This is good.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
Good.
Maybe take a little walk down by the down the rad, so you can enjoy the nice new river walkway they just put in. So it's
we saw by that because
chill
the river
and walk by the French Broad there.
What you're going to this? You're going to hang out at the French Broad with paddles? No, sorry.
Yeah, you don't have to jump in. You could. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The French Broad is not a broad; it's a river, right?
Oh, right. I get what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Sorry.
Well, we're twisted here. Broad is European. It's a European
yes,
broad.
Our friend
not
over
American
in England,
broad.
Glenn Burrows comes on our show every month, and he's in England, and he takes people around England, and every time he says, "Well, I'm going to take you on the Norfolk Broads," and he goes, "Ladies, it's not what you think. It's a river. It's a river.
He's learned.
Behave." So, but this, I mean, that's the thing about Asheville. You have the nature and the art scene. You've got to have the food and the drink in there, but I'm not leaving Andy out. Andy, where are you going when that knock happens?
Yes. So definitely for eats, I would have to get my favorite burger in town, which is at Baby Bowl over in the River Arts District.
Oh, she's got the River Arts District. We need that. Yes.
Yes. For drinks, I'm definitely gonna hang out at Antidote. They've just got such a cool vibe, really craft cocktails, really intimate setting. It's perfect for any celebration or just to grab a drink. And then for dinner, gotta give some love to Chai Pani.
Chai Pani.
Definitely.
What's Chai Pani? Tell us about that.
Chai
Indian.
Pani is Indian. It's like Indian street food. Always has a wait. So definitely try to get in for lunch. But Marijuana Ronnie is their kind of spearheads that, and a local spice company here in Asheville. And they're Spice Walla. And he's cool. Nominated. He's just great. So
this is exciting because when you think about the partnerships, I think that's, like Asheville has this really cool vibe. And I think you feel it as a visitor that it's just everybody's chilled, relaxed, and yet it's hip at the same time, but old school at the same. It has this perfect blend, using that word, of just be who you are. I think that is important to a community, diverse.
Absolutely.
Like when we talk about diversity, about be who you are and be accepted, and I'm talking about be kind, but it's like, it just feels so, I mean, the first time we got there, we hung out, and then the next thing you know, we're back, and next thing you know, we're back, and we keep coming back. And it's just this, there's a cool vibe everywhere. And there's dogs. It's dog friendly.
I love dogs.
Yes.
We love that. I think that's cool. And I think it comes from people working together. Steve, Karen, you have people dropping by your bed and breakfast every day, but any favorite place you want to give a shout out? And you guys partner with people, just like what we're talking about. It's about these partnerships.
Absolutely. We love partnering with anybody and everybody. But as far as guests, I mean, we have a nice list of things that we like to recommend, depending on, of course, what they're looking for. So we kind of cater it to them. So it's kind of hard to, we just target when they get here. But if we were to have friends or family come by, I mean, we'd obviously serve them a nice breakfast before we go anywhere. We'd go on like a nice waterfall hike. And then, of course, we'd end up in South Slope, do some of our favorite places, Dissolver, Ginger's, Burial. And then for dinner, just depends on their taste, but Chai Pani is definitely one of our favorites. Buxton Hall is another. Bouchon is another one if we want to get a little more upscale. If we want to stay casual, S&W Market that we talked about earlier has so many nice different foods in there for anybody. It's a great thing if you have like a group of people, everybody can get what they want. And then you got, breweries and drinks and everything nearby.
Awesome.
And you have that nice information table as you come in where your guests can go and look and find whatever they want. I love that. I think it's a welcoming thing to have.
Yeah. And
absolutely. It's a starting point for them.
We always say, stay at a bed and breakfast. They're like a mini visitor bureau. They know people. They talk. They go. Like Steve and Karen, follow them on Instagram and Facebook, and you will see that they are in keeping, but they play all the time. They go everywhere.
Work hard, play hard.
Dude, like seriously, you make me so jealous half the time. I'm like, dude, they went there without us. Like, how dare you?
I know.
I'm just teasing you, but I mean, you're always somewhere. I'm like, oh, they did this waterfall hike, and this hike is, oh, look, the waterfalls are frozen this time of year, which is so magic. Thank you all for joining us. I would really, Nancy and I haven't seen all of you yet, met you all, but we will at some point. You're making us all hungry, thirsty, and wanting to come out. So gingersrevenge.com is a website you need to go to. So you can get some Ginger's Revenge. Go to the website, but go further than that. Go there. Also for Two Trees Distilling, go to twotreesdistilling.com. And also for Dissolver, go to dissolver.com, and that is DSSOLVR, dissolver.com. Get some alienation. So just saying, can we make our own brew? Call it alienation. I want
I want to.
Absolutely.
I want an alien brew. I
I
really
know.
want like.
What's the name of the alien one again? What is that?
Thank you for
What?
existing.
Thank you for existing. I love
Oh.
that. That's awesome, especially
Oh.
pre-pandemic, right? Thank you, everyone. Keep up with Steve and Karen at lion-rose.com. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. We are here every first Tuesday with our adventures in Asheville. And as you can see or hear, this is tasty, delicious goodness, and you all need to come and have fun like we are. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.